Q8 pilot videos are powered by Virtual Fly. Hello there friends and followers, and welcome to this Explain 11 video. Based on popular demand, today we're going to be flying the Flight Factor A320 service from LaGuardia to Chicago O'Hare International Airport in the United States. Our flight time today is 2 hours and 40 minutes, and we will be cruising at 36,000 feet. So without further ado, let's get started. Let us get started by connecting the ground power unit and loading the aircraft with fuel. Ground power unit is on. Let's call the fuel truck, passenger, and cargo loaders. Let's take a quick look at our flight plan here. We need about 9,000 kilos of fuel. So we're going to head over here and we're just going to select 9,000. Let's see here. That's close enough. Passengers, we could just say 2/3 today, and for the cargo, we'll just set the cargo right over here and say set. Okay, so we're pretty much ready here. Let's head over to the overhead panel. Battery 1, battery 2, and we're going to connect the external power unit. And then the adheres to nav mode. Supply crew is on, and we're going to turn on all our fuel pumps. The Airbus is largely automated, and the workloads are definitely less than that of a Boeing. Okay, all looks good here. We're going to turn on the nav lights. Seatbelt signs are on, and non-smoking signs are on as well. And now we can head over to the FMC. Let's see here. Alright, that's much better. Okay, so we are going to head to initialization. We are going to be departing LaGuardia, which is Kilo Lima Golf Alpha. And we're going to be arriving into Chicago O'Hare, which is Kilo Oscar Romeo Delta. Okay, and flight number today is American Airlines 9574. The cost index for the flight is 21. Cruise altitude is 36,000 feet. RS NIT, and we're going to say align on reference, confirm alignment, and we're good. Okay, let's head over now to the flight plan. We are going to be departing LaGuardia, runway 31, and there is no SID for this flight, so we are going to be flying then direct to, let's see here, to Cote. And then we're going to take Airway Quebec 436, Quebec 436, and we're going to exit at Emma, and then it's going to be our star into Chicago O'Hare through the Wind 9. Okay, so we're going to insert that, and then we're going to go to Chord, Arrivals, and it's ILS runway 04 right through the Wind 9, and insert, and now we have our flight plan. Let's make sure there are no discontinuities. That looks good. There is one disco here, which we are going to clear. Let's make sure everything else is good, which looks fine to me. Okay, insert. This is manual. It means vectors, so we're expecting ATC to give us the vectors to final. And since there is no ATC in our flight, we're just going to do this manually. So that we look here. Yep, that looks good to me. Okay, so now we can go to the init page init again, and we're going to go to the fuel. Now the fuel, we can grab all the information from this page here, from the performance data. So we're just going to say request for this particular flight, and now we have the block fuel and all the relevant, the fuel prediction page is now populated. Okay, and we're going to go to performance. We're going to enter V2, V-rotate, and V1 we need to enter, which we're just going to put 129. Transition altitude in the USA is 18,000 feet. We're going to do flaps 1, and you can grab your trim position here. As you can see here, up 1.2. That's the number there, and you can set it as well if you like by clicking on this button, but we're just going to put 1 for the flaps, and then it's up. So we have to remember to set the trim 1.2. We enter that there. Flex temperature is 67, and we are now good. Okay, so everything looks good here. This is our flight plan, and we are now ready. So we're going to head back to the services, and we're going to remove the cargo, we're going to remove the passenger, and we're going to move the fuel truck. And we now can start the APU. So we're going to head over here, APU master, wait for the doors to open, and then click on start. And now we're just going to wait for the APU to become available. Let's set our altitude in the meantime to 36,000 feet. And let's listen to the H's real quick.
Kilo Lima Golf Alpha Airport Information Mike 0544 Zulu Weather Wind 113 at 7 Visibility 10 Sky Condition Ceiling 1200 Broken Ceiling 2300 Overcast Temperature 10 Dew point 8 Altimeter 3018 Advise on initial contact. You have information Mike.
Okay, QNH 3018.
Kilo Lima Golf.
And let's see here, everything here looks good. We're going to set this also to 3018. Now we can turn on the APU bleed, and we no longer need the external power. And we can dismiss the ground power unit as well. Okay, we are ready to go. We're just waiting for the alignment to complete. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and set the transponder code to 2000. So many of you have been asking me about the how to engage the auto throttle in the Airbus. Now, for departure, we want to take the throttle to this position here, which is the flex position. And once we are above 1,000 feet, we will retard the throttle to the climb position here. Okay, as you can see, it's marked clearly, and you'll hear the clicks right here and here. So this is for takeoff, and this is for climb and cruise. Alright, the iris alignment is now complete, and we are now ready to call the pushback truck to push out of our position.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
And we have also received our clearance to start the engines. Okay, we're going to start the engine number 2 first. The engine mode selector is on start. Engine number 2. Okay, we have a good start on engine number 2. Let's go ahead and start the engine number 1. Alright, let's set the parking brake. Parking brake is set, and we have a good start on both engines. Engine mode selected to normal. And we can now turn off the APU bleed and the APU. Okay, and we're gonna put the auto brake on maximum. We're gonna arm the speed brake, flaps 1, and let's set the trim to 1.2 up. That's about right. Disconnect the tow and wait for the hand signals. Okay, we are ready to go. We're going to turn on the taxi light, runway turn off light, and we're good to go. Let's release the parking brake and give it a little bit of power. Alright, we are approaching runway 31. We're going to make a final stop ride over here. Parking brake is set. Alright, so I'm not sure why the cabin says check cabin. I tried to look over the buttons here. This is the first time I get this with the Flight Factor A320. But anyway, strobes are on, nose to takeoff, and let's see here. Landing lights are on. I think it must be the emergency lights, maybe? No, that didn't work either. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and go. We're going to start the clock. And we're going to release the parking brake, and let's go.
On runway 31.
Alright, we are ready to go. Okay, and we're going to take the N1 to 50%. Right, good enough. Release the parking brakes. V1, rotate. And positive rate of climb. Gears going up. Climb thrust. Flaps up. And we can now engage the autopilot. Autopilot 1 is engaged. And we can disarm the speed brakes. And as you can see now, we are accelerating to 250 knots, and we're going to maintain 250 knots until we clear the 10,000 mark. Alright, we passed 10,000 feet. We're going to go ahead and turn off the landing lights, runway turn off lights, nose lights, and the rest we can leave on. Okay, barrel reference has been set to standard. We can release the cabin crew now, and the passengers can start receiving the in-flight service. Alright, everything else looks good, so I will see you guys as soon as we level off at 36,000 feet. Welcome back, folks. We are cruising at our final cruising altitude of 36,000 feet. And we are approximately 460 nautical miles from the top of descent mark, still quite a way. before we reach Chicago O'Hare. I was actually surprised to see that a lot of you were still interested in another flight, another full flight with a Flight Factor A320. I think I've done quite a bit of those full flights with this aircraft. But here it is again, for those of you who've been asking for it. And many have also requested the 737-700, the TBM, and the King Air by Airfoil Labs. Those will be scheduled in the coming weeks. So we will have probably the next 4 or 5 weeks of full flights using those aircraft that you guys have mentioned in the community tab poll. I'm also currently working on revamping the website. I'm thinking of creating a directory. So the Q8 Pilot website will be turned into a complete directory where there is reviews, articles, and listings of both freeware and payware. Something for the community to benefit from, and advertising opportunities for free, of course. I don't know if I'm going to ever impose any fees on advertising on the website, but it's something that I will contemplate at a later time. So this is pretty much an update on what I've been doing in terms of flight simulation. Otherwise, life has been definitely very hectic. I've been putting a lot of hours at work, sometimes in excess of 11 hours. So it's been quite busy here in real life, and managing also the family and 4 children is really a handful. So I'm trying my best to keep my Saturday schedules and doing those flights for you guys. It does really help me a lot getting your feedback on the community tab, because it really helps me to create content that you guys want to see instead of something that I want to do. So this is pretty much an update of what's been going on in my life and what I'm doing in terms of flight simulation, and I hope I can continue to deliver useful content to the community. Alright, so I'm gonna let you guys enjoy the flight, and I will check back with you right before top of descent to configure the MCDU for our approach and landing into Chicago O'Hare International. Welcome back, folks. We are now 80 nautical miles from the top of descent mark. We're going to start entering the approach and landing data. We're going to head over here to the MCDU. Let me move it right over here. Next phase, approach. Okay, so let's grab the information. We're going to head over to Active Sky. We're going to go to the conditions, and we're going to enter the destination airport, which is Chicago O'Hare. Calamity conditions at Chicago, 3009 is the QNH, 3009, and the temperature is 7 Celsius or 45 Fahrenheit, so we're going to put 7 Celsius here, and the wind is 7 knots at 10 degrees. 7. VAP is 140. Oops. And the decision height is 200. Now, some people have asked me about the decision height. This is not something that you calculate. You just grab it off the chart. So if you look at the chart for runway 04 right at Chicago O'Hare, this is the number that you want to look at here. As you can see, D, and between the parentheses you have the answer. So that's the decision height, which is highlighted again between parentheses here, which is 200. So that's where you grab this number from. So we're going to enter 200 right here, and we are all set now. All our data is entered. We are ready for our approach and landing, and we are approaching now the top of descent mark, about 68 nautical miles. So I'll see you guys in just a bit, where we will begin an open descent to, I believe, 2,200. Let's check that here again real quick. Yep, 2,200 is the platform altitude for our flight today. So I'll see you guys in just a bit. As you can see, we have now reached the top of descent mark. The MCP altitude has been reset to 2,200 feet, and now we're going to initiate the descent. Alright, descent has been initiated now. And as you can see now, the aircraft has begun the descent, and the thrust is now idle. We're going to go ahead and turn on the fasten seatbelt sign now. And as you can see now, we have ILS 04 right on the display here, and that's going to be our landing runway today. We are now approaching the transition altitude, which is 18,000 feet. There we go, transition altitude. And we're going to set the barrel reference to 3009 here and here as well. 3009 is set, and we continue our descent. It's pretty cloudy here at Chicago O'Hare International. We are now approaching 10,000 feet, and as you can see, the aircraft has begun decelerating to 250 knots, which is the allowable speed below 10,000 feet.
Copy, Mike, 40, left heading 010, 4,000 feet, okay, all 658.
The airport is right over there. Okay, 10,000, we're going to turn on our landing lights and runway turn-off lights, and landing system is on both sides, and we momentarily will make the turn to the left, and then another left to intercept the localizer and land runway 04 right. All's looking good for our approach. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and set the auto brake to medium and arm the ground spoilers. The approach phase has been activated, and as you can see, we are now decelerating, and we are in managed speed mode. The airport is to our left, so we will be making a left turn here momentarily to intercept the localizer. Reduce the range here. And we're coming up to the 200 knot mark. Okay, 200 knots and 5 spot. Okay, and approach. Localizer is captured.
Romeo Whiskey with Mike.
29 to Romeo Whiskey, Roger, Island 1 in right, information Mike, correct?
Left right Mike, 29 to Romeo Whiskey.
And that is the runway ahead of us now. A little bit of stuttering there. Okay, and the gear is going down.
Heading 025, speed 200.
5025, speed 200,
And flaps full.
Easy 9 to Romeo Whiskey, left turn, heading 010.
Heading 010, Romeo Whiskey.
Okay, and at this point, I'm going to go ahead and take over
And 903, contact arrival,
my airplane.
405.
Arrival
Approaching 04 right.
$500.
500 feet.
November 971 Juliet Bravo, turn left heading 010.
400.
010 November Juliet Bravo.
$100 above. 300. Minimum 200.
Continue.
Easy 92 Romeo Whiskey, descend to 3,000 feet on the Q&A from 019.
100.
3000 15 at 099 Romeo Whiskey.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
And touchdown. Reversers around.
Al-Hashlan 5428, descend to 3,000 feet.
Manual
Q&A from
braking.
019.
2006 Al-Hashlan 5428.
And welcome to Chicago O'Hare International.
3,000 feet remaining.
Romeo Whiskey, reduce to 200 knots.
Just 600 knots to the 9 Romeo Whiskey.
And we're going to take a look at our landing momentarily here as soon as we find a spot to park the aircraft. And
Approaching
as it is
2-8
usual-
center.
And as it is usually the case with the flight factor, I get the brakes are hot after landing. So we're going to turn on the brake fans. And let's go ahead now and take a look at our landing. Well folks, this pretty much brings us to the conclusion of our video today. Next week I will be doing a full tutorial of the Airfoil Labs King Air 350. I hope that you've enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.